Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're decoding something absolutely crucial: how to translate your technical engineering initiatives into the language of pure profit and business value. Listen, if you've ever poured your heart into a proposal only to totally struggle to get the budget or buy-in your DevOps team desperately needs, well, you're in the right place. This is exactly what you need to flip the script. Think back for a second to the last time you walked into a boardroom full of non-technical stakeholders. You're trying to explain why a new initiative matters, right? You probably remember the exact second you lost them. It was right when you dropped terms like containerization, automated pipelines, or deployment frequency. You know the look: the blank stare from the CFO, or those polite, kind of dismissive head nods from the board as you started geeking out over Kubernetes. Your pitch didn't fail because the idea was bad. No, it failed because of a massive communication gap. There is a fundamental disconnect happening in that room. We so often go into these meetings speaking the language of engineering. We focus on the tools, the pipelines, the technical frameworks, because, hey, that's what solves the problem on the ground. But executives, they don't think in tools. They manage risk and allocate capital. They're thinking strictly in terms of financial impact, revenue generation, and the bottom line. So if you're speaking technical jargon and they're listening for profit generation, you're basically having two completely different conversations. So here is our agenda for today. Consider this your Rosetta Stone for making that translation. We are going to cover the language of leadership, look at speed as a competitive advantage, discuss protecting revenue and reclaiming expensive engineering time, before finally wrapping up with a practical toolkit for pitching DevOps as profit. All right, jumping right into part one, the language of leadership. It's time to stop pitching tools and start pitching money. The absolutely crucial point to remember here is this: nobody is asking you to suddenly become a business analyst or an accountant, but you absolutely must learn to translate your technical wins into financial outcomes. Execs have a fiduciary duty to the company, right? If they can't clearly see the capital return on an investment, they just won't approve the budget. It's that simple. If you start your pitch talking about the specific software tool you want to buy, the conversation is pretty much over before it begins. You have to start with the money. Moving on to section 2, let's talk about speed as a competitive advantage. Because faster features literally equal faster revenue. The business value of shifting from traditional, clunky release cycles to rapid deployment is just immense. I mean, think about it. Before DevOps, a company might ship a new feature every 3 to 6 months. But shifting to shipping every week or even every single day, that's not just a cool technical milestone. We are radically accelerating our time to market. When you can respond to customer feedback in days instead of quarters, you're out there capturing revenue while your competitors are literally still sitting around in planning meetings. Lagging behind by 3 months doesn't just mean a delayed feature. It very often means permanently lost market share. And here's the exact script you should use with leadership. We can get new features to customers in days, not months. That's speed our competitors don't have. Notice what's missing there? There is absolutely no mention of CI/CD pipelines or automated testing. None. You're completely replacing technical terminology with the concept of rapid market dominance. That instantly shifts the vibe of the room from a tech request to a strategic business advantage. Okay, on to section 3, protecting revenue and uptime. Let's look at the exponential cost of bugs. The sheer scale of the financial impact here is honestly staggering. Studies from IBM put it at 10 to 100 times more expensive to fix a bug post-release compared to catching it pre-release in development. But you know what? That 100x multiplier doesn't even account for all the compounding hidden costs. When a bug hits production, you are dealing with real, painful financial fallout. We're talking measurable churn rates from lost customer trust, terrible PR, and a massive influx of support tickets that you literally have to pay your customer service team to handle. To put that into perspective, for mid-sized companies, an unexpected outage isn't just an inconvenience. It can cost anywhere from $100,000 to $500,000 for a single hour of unplanned downtime. When you start factoring in abandoned shopping carts, massive SLA penalties paid out to enterprise clients, and the cost of pulling your entire engineering team off feature work just to firefight the issue, the financial leak is catastrophic. Monitoring, automated testing, and observability, they don't just help engineers sleep better, they are literal revenue protection. So when you pitch observability to the board, use this phrasing: we find and fix problems before customers hit them. Every incident we prevent is tens of thousands saved. You want to prove that technical vigilance literally protects the company's bank account. You aren't pitching a monitoring tool here. You are pitching an insurance policy that pays for itself the very first time it catches a critical issue. Moving right along to Section 4, reclaiming expensive engineering time. We need to expose a massive hidden burn rate that leadership rarely ever sees on a spreadsheet.
This cost gets overlooked so often because it's hidden right there in the salary data. Think about a senior engineer making, say, $150,000 a year. If they are forced to spend 10 hours a week manually deploying code, provisioning servers, or debugging drifted configs, well, that is nearly $40,000 of their salary completely wasted. That is your most expensive operational cost, just burning away on low-value, repetitive work instead of producing new, revenue-generating value for the business.
And the truly scary part for the business is that this manual overhead compounds as your systems grow. What takes one engineer a day right now is going to take 3 engineers a week in 2 years if continuous improvement is ignored. The snowball effect is just brutal. As repetitive tasks eat up your entire engineering budget, your feature velocity drops to near zero. Morale sinks, hiring becomes incredibly difficult, and retaining your best engineers, good luck. It becomes nearly impossible because absolutely no one wants to spend their career doing manual grunt work. Technical debt works exactly like financial debt. It charges literal interest, and that interest is paid out in expensive salary and massive delays. Every single new feature you ship on top of a fragile manual system becomes slightly more expensive to build, test, and maintain. This perfectly explains to leadership why they are constantly hearing that things are, quote, more complicated than expected every single sprint. That complexity, that is the financial interest of tech debt, showing up right there as slipping deadlines. Here's the script to reframe that entire conversation. Right now, a meaningful chunk of our engineering time goes to manual work that could be automated. That's salary cost producing no new value. Here's what we could reclaim. In a boardroom where payroll is almost always the single biggest operating expense, talking about reclaiming salary is incredibly powerful. You aren't asking to reduce toil just to make your life easier. You're ensuring that highly paid engineers are actually spending their time on initiatives that move the business forward.
All right, Section 5, Hitching DevOps as Profit. Let's look at your executive toolkit.
The next time you need to make a case for a DevOps initiative, please do not start with the tools. Follow these 3 simple steps. Step 1, always lead with a financial pain. Step 2, present the solution strictly in terms of reclaimed cost or protected revenue. And step 3, and I know this one is notoriously hard for us engineers, strictly reserve the technical jargon for offline follow-ups. Honestly, offering technical details too early just dilutes your financial argument. It drags X into the weeds where they don't belong, and they will inevitably lose interest.
Having a set of standardized templates like these is your ultimate cheat code for securing buy-in. For instance, if you're pitching a new deployment pipeline, don't talk about the pipeline itself. Use the first template. It currently takes us 4 weeks to release. Here's the cost of that delay in lost market opportunity. Then simply introduce the automation as the solution to reclaim that money. Pick the template that fits your specific initiative, plug in your company's actual numbers, and directly tie your proposed changes to quantifiable business value.
So, before your next pitch, I want you to ask yourself this fundamental question. Are your systems generating competitive value or quietly burning cash? Execs genuinely want you to succeed, but they need you to speak their language. Translating engineering reality into financial truth is quite literally the most powerful tool you have to get the support, the budget, and the buy-in your team deserves. So take a hard look at your current roadmap and ask yourself, are you pitching tools today or are you pitching profit?